Kombi door panels for Kombi bus. The original ones were made out of like this type of material here, this cardboard type of stuff. They actually had a little bit of a texture to them. So, I kind of like the masonite board to make them out of because it paints a little better. I mean, I've made them out of this. I mean, it's just a little more expensive way to do it, but this works out really well, just as well. And sometimes I've had problem with this stuff warping, even though it's supposed to be waterproof. So what I usually do is I'll make them out of masonite. I got patterns for these, so they're not exact patterns, but they and then for this one doesn't have the vent hole. Normally would be right there. So what I do is I cut them out of masonite, and then when I get done cutting them, I take a piece of like this here, the block, and I'll sand all the edges, and that gets it nice and smooth looking. Okay, and then I use a good primer, a regular house primer that's really good quality. This is a really good one. You can use Zinsser cover stain if you're in a place that doesn't have this. This is Vista's. If you're in Southern California, Vista Paint has the best primer there is. Pretty much primes all primer sealer. Or if you're out of the area, use the Zinsser cover stain. Do not use 123. That stuff's completely garbage. I don't know why it's ever still on the market. Stuff's garbage. So you use it doesn't stick to anything. It doesn't cover anything. It's just garbage. So cover stain is good if you're going to get that Zinsser cover stain. And then prime with a fine roller, everything. And then paint it with a satin paint. And between stages, I'll go ahead and just knock this down the edges a little bit with a piece of sandpaper to clean that up, make sure the little furry edges will go down nice and smooth. Put a coat, 2 coats of satin paint on these. Make sure you paint all the edges, and then do them. Now, if you want to use this material, you can. This is door panel material, but the masonite I think works a little bit better. And then what I'll do is I'll put the finishing washers and stainless screws on there. I use all stainless screws on everything. They're cheap. You get them on eBay or something. It's not even, buy them by the 100. Don't, that's the best way to do it, and get self-drilling so you're not having to drill holes. So they sell them at Wolfsburg West as well, with the aluminum finishing washers and the slotted screws. But man, I did one like that. Oh my God, I'll never do it again. It takes too long to do one door panel. It takes a whole day or 2 days to do all your door panels if you're doing the whole back. So anyway, this works really well. It's a cheap way to do your door panels. This is like $8 for a sheet of this stuff, and if you don't have the patterns, you're gonna have to get them for somebody else. You might have to use your old door panels and make them with that. But the cool thing about these versus if you're trying to make door panels for your bug, it's not worth it, because you have all those holes. You just have to buy them already made, because they're just too hard to make. Trying to make them, unless you're just going to screw them on, which to me that's kind of Mickey Mouse. I'd rather use the snaps. But yeah, that's how you do it. And if you don't have the patterns and you can't make them yourself or whatever, the best, most original looking ones are from Clara up in Washington. She makes a really nice set of them, and they send them to you, ship them out to you, but it's kind of expensive for the shipping. So they're on the Samba. So anyway, that's a little bit about door panels. I'll talk to you in the next video.